I just heard a story, really cool story, about the Baba Sali. It's just his yard site.
Yeah.
One of his grandsons was at a wedding recently. He goes, "Excuse me." He's like, "You look like you're from this family." Names the family. And the guy goes, "Yeah, that I'm of that family." And he knows that family are descendants of the Baba Sali. So he asks him, he goes, "Hey, you're related to the Baba Sali?" He goes, "Yeah, the Baba Sali was my grandfather." Well, on his mom's side. And he goes, "I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. I wanted to ask you. I heard a rumor that the Baba Sali told his children that Mashiach is not going to come in your time. You're not going to merit to see Mashiach." He said, "But your children are going to merit to see Mashiach."
Right.
And he said, "That's my grandfather." So he's like, me and one other kid are left from that generation, and we're now in our 80s. So he said it's going to happen very, very soon.
Well,
Hashem is not tied to things of nature, and neither are Jews. Jews, because we're intrinsically connected with Hashem, we're also not tied to nature. The Rebbe was very big on that. He's like, if you go outside of yourselves,
okay, so what's missing?
then you're gonna change nature.
So the question is, are we missing something, or
The desire. The desire for
are you
Mashiach.
kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
I'm going to tell you something.
I had this conversation.
No. I can show a bunch of videos
Yeah.
when the missiles were coming. People in the shelter in the parking lots.
Yes.
I'm Yisrael, I'm Mashiach.
Yeah.
They're here. Yeah.
Here.
And people all over the world are praying for us.
Yes, I agree. But
What but?
there's a but.
What?
Is that fake? Like, are people actually like? Is that desire fake?
The desire for Mashiach is not fake at all. The Rebbe talks about this a lot. Before Gimel Tammuz, he would yell at people. He'd say, "You guys are screaming Mashiach, we don't really want him." He said, "If you guys scream Mashiach so much," he's like, "but if you actually wanted Mashiach, if you really, really wanted Mashiach, he would be here already." First of all, we have to recognize that Hashem is king. If you don't recognize that Hashem is king, then you can't have Mashiach. Because if you don't recognize the king, you can't have the prince that's taking over the crown. Remember, how many people left Egypt?
I know, 1/5.
1/5. So it's the same problem that we have today. That's why this generation is the one that has to do the tikkun for the rest of the Jews that didn't make it out. Why didn't they leave Egypt?
Because they had their businesses and their kids were already in school.
So if you know 5 towns in New York?
What?
5 towns. That's a town. It's a place in New York. People have mansions, beautiful yards, 6 cars, amazing life. How many of them want to move here?
Not too many.
Not too many. That's the problem. That right there is the problem. People are living. The Rebbe said this also about. He's like, people living in America, they're not going to want to leave. There's no reason to leave America as a Jew. In Russia, it made sense to leave because as a Jew in Russia you get killed for it. It's hard. But no one's bothering you in America. Now it's starting to a little bit on college campuses. They're bothering you if you're a Jew, but no one's bothering you for being a Jew or doing Jewish things in America. So why would you want to leave? There's no need to leave.
America is Mitzrayim.
America is Mitzrayim. 100%.
It's a form of slavery.
Yes, 100%. You're slaves to the Gashmias.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%. My chavrusa, last night we were learning. I go, "You got to move to Israel," and he goes, "Yeah, but there's Jews here that need help." I go, "First you got to help yourself, and then you can help other Jews. First you got to make it to Eretz Israel, and then you can bring other Jews. You got to come." Even though we have fear that I have sinned and I don't deserve Hashem's kindness, I should still trust that Hashem is doing good for me. Initially, the following explanation could be offered. The concept of bitachon is based on the faith, the emunah, that everything comes from Hashem. Blessed be He. Thus, when a person encounters distress and misfortune, this is not because of any other factor has control, chas v'shalom, in any manner whatsoever. Basically saying, if you're upset that you got grounded, it's not because your father grounded you, it's because Hashem wanted it to be that way. It's really coming from Hashem. If someone you get in a car accident, it's not because the other person hit your car, it's because Hashem ordained it. Rather, everything comes from above. The other person had no control over that situation, or you stepped in a puddle, the puddle, or whatever it is, a tsunami hit, the rocket hit your house, whatever it is, Hashem, it's not because the Iranians sent the rocket. They're not the causers of this. Hashem is the one that caused it to happen. Everything's coming from Him.
Caused it to happen to that person specifically.
Right, sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So a person with that awareness is therefore utterly serene. Right? If you're aware that all the things that are coming, even good or bad, are all from Hashem, then you become serene. Why? Either way, you have no reason to worry. Because if if he does not deserve any evil to be visited upon him, then certainly Hashem's going to save him from that evil. Right? If you don't deserve to have something bad happen to you, then Hashem's for sure going to save you. This is Yoav. You know the story of Job. He was he had all these things in his life. He had cows and donkeys and chickens and a wife and lots of children and parnasa and a beautiful home and a family, all these things, and Hashem took it all away from him. And he's sitting there with his friends, and he's chatting with his friends, and his friends are like, "Oh, maybe you deserve this. Maybe this was supposed to happen." He goes, "You guys know me. You know I'm a good guy. What in my life has happened that I deserve something like this to happen to me? There's nothing that I've done that I deserve this evil to come upon me." And ultimately, what happened in the end is Hashem gave everything back to him. He was saved from it.
And then some.
And then some, exactly. So this is true even when there is no natural possibility for him to be saved. For who can say, Hashem, what are you doing? Moreover, he is able to change the laws of nature. So we can't say that we're limited or that Hashem is limited to being able to save us from something that's impossible to be saved from. Avram went through fire and was totally saved from the fire. Daniel in the lion's den. All these things that it's impossible for someone to walk out alive. Hashem's able to adjust nature so that it fits that the person is to be saved. So we can't say that there's no possible way Hashem can save me from this situation. If I'm supposed to be saved, Hashem is for sure going to find a way to save me. If, on the other hand, so here's the other side of it, he is not worthy of Hashem's kindness, but instead deserves punishment. His mind is still utterly at ease because he knows that his misfortune does not result from any side factor, but from Hashem alone. Since he did not fulfill his responsibilities to his creator, he brought him to this distressing situation. Hashem brought this person to this distressing situation. Therefore, he fears no one but God alone. Moreover, he realizes that this difficulty is for his own good, for as is well known, even the punishments ordained by the Torah are expressions of Hashem's rachmanis, of his kindness, cleansing a person from the blemish of sin. Thus, there is no place for worry or fear, or as Amram likes to say, he's getting scar in Olam Haba. He stubs his toe in this world and he benefits in the next world from it. So this is not anything like new or revolutionary, but if we really focus on that something that is not good that's happening to me in this world, one, either I don't deserve it and Hashem's for sure gonna save me, or two, I do deserve it and it's good for me in this moment to have this. Either way, you should be happy. It's good that this is happening. It says in Masechta Sanhedrin, Daf Mem Beis or Mem Aleph, I'm not sure, one of the two, says Hatov Yameti. There's a bracha that we're supposed to say whenever the moon is out. Say Baruch Atah Hashem Hatov Yameti when the moon is growing. Right now it's Rosh Chodesh. Today is Rosh Chodesh, Ketaydish. So right now the moon is gone. There is no moon. The moon is going to be growing every night from here for the next 15 days. So we say Baruch Atah Hashem Hatov Yameti. So the question the Gemara they bring up, they say, well, what happens when the moon is going back down? Do we say the opposite? Baruch Dayan Hamas. The Shem, you're the true judge. This whole idea is that whatever's happening in your life, it good or bad, it should continue to make you feel more at peace. So Hashem is giving you stimulation, not to overwhelm you or give you anxiety, but to actually calm you down. It's when you don't see things happening in your life, that's when you should be like, oh crap, is Hashem like watching me or not watching me? Is he involved or not involved? Likutei Moharan, which is the Breslov Chassidus, Rabbi Nachman, the Baal Shem Tov's grandson. And he says in this thing, he said that someone has to be sure that no matter what happens in his life, every day he should say, Baruch Atah Hashem Hatov Yameti. Everything that happens in your life, good, bad, different, everything should really, really make it a point to say Baruch Atah Hashem Hatov Yameti. So I was like, oh, I was like, what a great children's book this would be, that like, and trust in a child's mind that whatever's happening in their life, they can say it. Yeah. And I make these stories, I read them to my daughter, and this one she loves, and she says it all the time. She says it more than my wife. All the time my daughter is saying like, Baruch Atah Hashem Hatov Yameti, and then she'll turn to me and she'll be like, you know what we have to say, Baruch Atah Hashem Hatov Yameti, whatever happens, good, bad, all the time she's saying it. Accordingly, there is no contradiction. A person may have absolute bitachon in Hashem, even though he knows that possibly his sin will cause him to be found unworthy of being rescued from the impending misfortune. This knowledge does not detract from his peace of mind, for he realizes that whatever happens to him is coming from Hashem. Everything's coming from the same place. With this explanation,
go ahead.
We can appreciate the intent of the commentators to the Medrash Maintain, this is what we ended last time, that one ought not be afraid, and that we should not learn from the conduct of Yaakov and Moshe, who showed fear. As is evident from the plain meaning of the relevant passages, they feared the immediate cause of their distress. That's what Rashi explains in the Psukim of in the Torah on these two people. Yaakov was afraid of Esav, as it is written in, Yaakov was very frightened and distressed, and he therefore divided the people and sent half of them across the river. Similarly, Moshe had to be warned not to fear Og. Such fear indicates that something was lacking in their consummate bitachon in Hashem. Because if they really had bitachon in Hashem, even if Yaakov was going to face Esav, if he merited to be saved, Hashem was going to save him. And if he didn't merit to be saved, then it's exactly what he deserved anyway. That he deserved peace. And he should trust that Hashem is going to mete it out to him exactly how it's supposed to. We said last time that Yaakov was afraid because maybe he did some sin. He didn't merit to be saved. Same with Moshe. And maybe I sin and I don't merit to be saved. We're saying that's why the Medrash is explaining that don't learn this. Don't go after their example. Because even if you don't deserve to be saved, it's still Hashem is giving this to you as a kindness then. So you don't have to suffer an olam haba, you don't have to go to Gehenna, whatever it is. It's still good. So even if you don't deserve to be saved, don't have fear. Fear is not going to help you. It's going to happen either way, whether you fear or don't have fear. And if you trust that Hashem is doing it for your benefit, then you can at least take it with stride and be like peaceful and happy that it's happening. Keep like a positive mindset and at least just be chill, less anxious, less distraught about it. The exercise is going to be serenity. So list 3 things in your life that feel out of your control or cause anxiety or stress. So like you feel distressed about. Take one of those things and say, this too comes directly from Hashem. And what can I do to release anxiety and increase trust in that area?
You're going to go through ups and downs in your life, and it's okay.
You should.
It's normal that you go up and then you slip back and then you go up again. It's a journey. That's really what it is.
Hashem specifically wants that, by the way.
Yeah.
When you go up, he wants there to be a little bit of a crash, because it's the only way you can get momentum to come back up again.
Yeah.
The roller coaster can't go up until you have that down.
So he expects you to be a Rasha sometimes?
Not necessarily a full Russia, but he expects you to not be doing what you were doing before. Because why? Right now, you see that there's a dissonance between where you want to be and where you are. And it causes you a little bit of distress. But also, it's going to light a fire under your tuchus to want to get to that place. If you didn't have the vision of being somewhere where you aren't, you're never going to try to reach it. You have to have a vision of... The whole point of Chassidus... I was just saying this in another video. The whole point of Chassidus is to show you how low you are so you can see how high you can reach. I need to be fully aware of the situation I'm in now. So that, and I can't get depressed about it, because if I get depressed, I'm not going to have any motivation to go up. But I can't ignore where I'm at right now. If I just think I'm a perfect tzaddik, then you're going to fall into ruts. But I have to be fully aware of where I'm at now, so I can see, okay, how can I get to the place where I want to be? It's a journey. But again, it's all about the journey, but you're going to constantly be doing that sort of thing, like taking note where I'm at now, where do I want to go, okay, what practical steps do I have to do to get there. You do the same thing in the gym. You do max outs like what, every 3 or 4 months? You do like a 1 rep max to see how far you're going.
I've only done max outs like once.
Okay, fine, but you keep progress like every week to see how much more weight or how many reps you're doing on each thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's the same exact thing. It's spiritually, you do the same thing. In your avodah Hashem, you have to do the same exact thing. What am I doing this week? What am I doing next week? We had this conversation a while back where I said, okay, I missed Mincha, I missed Marav. And I go, okay, I take note. This is where I'm at. Tomorrow I'm going to try to do a little bit better. Every time, every day, every moment. Hashem recreates the world every moment, so you have a chance to do tshuva. It's not the same you. You're not stuck. You're not that same person that isn't davening 3 times a day. You're you right now in this moment. Totally a different person. I do understand the feelings of loneliness and existential crisis, thinking that you're always going to be alone.
But when you're with somebody, that feeling goes away.
Not necessarily.
Oh, that's true, because You can be in a relationship and still be lonely.
Right. I would say I would
If
say
your partner doesn't understand you or something.
no, I would say it's the exact opposite. Because you're feeling that, you're gonna create a relationship in which you feel that even more intensely.
Yes.
I don't understand.
Happened to me personally. That's the only reason I can speak on it. But the whole thing we've been talking about is you're manifesting things. So if you have this fear in your mind that you're going to be alone forever, you're going to bring into you're going to manifest a relationship that's going to make you feel even more alone and isolated. That's what I did. My first marriage, I felt alone. I felt like I was never going to get married. Everything that you're saying, I totally like. I was like, that was me. I remember that. It wasn't that long ago that I was there. That I felt. I was living in San Diego. I left. I was like, had this great body and whatever, and like all these girls in my life. I went to yeshiva and I got fat and I like wasn't very educated and I was like, and when you're a Baal Tshuva also in that world, you get suggested people that aren't like very good matches. And so it makes you feel even more alone, more like I'm not going to find someone. I'm not worthy of getting these.
Like misunderstood?
Not even misunderstood. Like I Dafka felt like I'm not worthy of having a good match. That I'm worthy of having a wife. That I'm not davening 3 times a day. I'm not there. I'm not a person that's supposed to get this thing in my life. I'm going to be alone forever, and so I'm going to take the first girl that comes along that is even close to matching, close to what I want, fulfilling some sort of need of mine, and that's exactly what I did. And the first girl that was like pretty and seemed like more religious and along those lines, I was like, I'm marrying her, and I married her. And I felt more alone in that relationship than I've ever felt in my entire life.
I'm guessing the relationship didn't go really well.
We were married for 4 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So 2 months in, we talked about getting divorced. Like, it wasn't a healthy relationship. And I would claim that I manifested it because of my own feelings, my inability to be with myself, my feelings of loneliness and existential crisis. I manifested that relationship. I created it. It's my fault. I'm the one who made it happen because that's what I was feeling at the time. So I'm going to be alone forever and I need to get married because I feel alone and I feel like I'm not going to get married and all the suggestions I'm getting, I hate. So the first thing that's good, I should just take it and be happy and move on with my life. And that's the wrong thing to do. And when I started switching and demanding things in my life, like, no, I deserve these good things. I want these good things. Demanding these good things. Demanding from Hashem that He gives it to me. I have bitachon that whether I deserve it or not, He's giving it to me. And now Baruch Hashem, I have an amazing wife and we're fulfilling our mission and living in Eretz Yisrael. Like all these things that I couldn't even imagine, like extra that Hashem is giving on top of it. It all starts with what you're manifesting. So if you're having these feelings, I can't tell you to get rid of them because it's not so easy.
Yeah, right. No, it's not.
But if you start doing the things in your life that you're afraid of, that like I'm not doing these things, and so I am going to be alone. If you start taking actions every day to get towards that place, Hashem's going to bring your wife to you without you having to like worry or try, because you're going to be manifesting the good husband. That the wife that has already been predetermined for you is waiting for you to get your tuchus off the couch and get your ass in gear. And do tshuva a little bit. She's waiting for you. My wife also, she yells at me all the time. She's like, you made me wait so long. You couldn't have made tshuva like 5 years before. You made me marry this other guy. Right? She's like, why weren't you? I was waiting for you. You were like, I was like, I'm sorry it took me so long. That it took me to get divorced to really get my butt in gear, to like really do the things that I knew I wanted to get to.